Now, the Israeli government announced today it will appeal to the International Criminal Court the charges against Prime Minister Netanyahu and former Defense Minister Yoav Gallant of committing war crimes in the Gaza campaign. And it demanded a delay in the issue of arrest warrants against them, saying the more the court rejects the appeals, the more, quote, it will demonstrate how biased the ICC is against the state of Israel. Now, the ICC case against Netanyahu and Gallant suffered another setback today when France said it would not enforce the arrest warrants that were issued against Israeli officials. The French Foreign Ministry saying in a statement that while it respects the legal authority of the court, Netanyahu and Gallant are protected by existing statutes that provide immunity to leaders of countries that are not members of the ICC, and that would include Israel. Here's what a French government spokeswoman had to say on that.
France will respect international law, as always, so its obligation to cooperate with the International Criminal Court, but also the respect of the Rome Status, which provides immunity cases for heads of states and leaders. As for the question about Netanyahu's arrest, it doesn't arise today, and in any case, the decision would rest with the judicial power.
And joining us for more is Sarah Bloom. She's a legal expert in international law and human rights. She speaks to us from Boston in the U.S. This evening. Sarah, thank you for joining us. First of all, you heard that. How significant do you think it is that France has decided and come out in saying it's not going to enforce those arrest warrants against Benjamin Netanyahu and Yoav Gallant?
Well, it is of big significance. Hello?
Yes.
Sorry, I thought I lost you. So it is of big significance because France is a big power in the international arena. It's a big power in Europe. It's also a state member of the ICC. And as such, it sets an example that for other countries also to adopt the same reasoning in order not to apply the ruling of the ICC. So in that sense, I think it has big significance on the international arena, and it sends also a strong message to the public opinion.
Do you think this was just a legal opinion? There is a discussion in Israel whether there may have been a quid pro quo of Israel allowing France to take part in the arrangements following this ceasefire agreement with Lebanon, and that was a fact of more of a political decision or a legal decision by France?
I wouldn't say that the role of France that will be played regarding the ceasefire agreement has something to do with the ICC, like the fact that they will apply or not the ICC. I think, though, that there is a correlation between the two in the sense that France signed this agreement with Israel as a party of the agreement, and it cannot conduct international relations without, with the threat of arresting the head of state of Israel. So it makes political sense and diplomatic sense for the good conduct of international relations to apply the exception to Article 27 of the Rome Statutes, which is Article 98, that grants immunity for head of states from states that are not members of the ICC, such as Israel.
Right, and that is the argument that Israel has been making all along. Now, Israel says it is going to appeal to the ICC. Does it really have a realistic chance of it, or is it really just an exercise to, as Israel is saying, in a sense, maybe perhaps prove the hypocrisy of the court and its selective bias against Israel?
No, I wouldn't say that it's to prove any political bias. You can argue about the political argument of the prosecutor, the political reasons of the prosecutor to prosecute Israel, but you cannot argue of the legality of a ruling. What you can argue about, though, is the grounding of the ruling, and that's probably what Israel is going to argue about, is whether the court has or not jurisdiction over Israel, who is an independent state, a democracy with an independent rule of law and judiciary system, as far as we are concerned. So Israel could conduct its own inquiry and its own trials, and as such, the court shouldn't have jurisdiction over Israeli rulers. So I assume that this is what Israel is going to argue about in its bid, and So now we have to stay tuned and see what is actually going to be the grounding of the bid. But I think it's more on the legal grounds that it's going to be challenged more than politically.